So it goes without question that one of the most important devices for Pokemon Go players has always been the Pokemon Go Plus Plus. This is an auto catcher that players could use to automatically catch Pokemon as well as automatically spin Pokestops, and this is something that Niantic for one reason or another has discontinued for quite some time. If you want to get yourself a Pokemon Go Plus Plus, it essentially has to be a used version or it's going to be extremely expensive because it would be imported from Japan. And overall, this has been a very questionable move. I think a lot of players have been wondering why Niantic had discontinued this item, considering that it would actually make them a ton of revenue. This device was incredibly popular during its run, and players are always looking to get themselves one because of the gameplay implications behind this device. But now it looks like we have some information regarding why this item was discontinued. Recently, some code was uncovered from the Pokemon files that indicates that a new item is going to be coming to Pokemon Go that might actually work like the Pokemon Go Plus Plus. And there is a strong possibility here that Niantic could utilize this to create a bunch of very predatory monetization practices. We're going to be talking about all of this in today's video. Let's get right into it. Hey, how's it going everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. Alright, so we gotta talk about the Pokemon Go Plus Plus. This is one of those items that players had purchased in the past that was key for getting a whole bunch of Pokemon and also getting a whole bunch of items without doing anything because it was an auto catcher. I think in the past, when the Pokemon Go Plus was first released, a lot of players were finding that they wanted to do it automatically. There were some various tricks for making your Pokemon Go Plus catch automatically, like holding down the button with a rubber band and stuff like that. But eventually we saw third-party auto catchers get released, like I actually forgot the name of it, but there were certain devices that were being sold by third-party developers that would allow you to auto-catch Pokemon within Pokemon Go with that device. And of course, Niantic decided to cash in on that by making one for themselves. In conjunction with the release of Pokemon Sleep, they created a device called the Pokemon Go Plus Plus. And this device would auto-catch all of your Pokemon and also auto-spin Pokemon. And if you want to manually catch Pokemon, you could do that by pressing a button, and you could use even Great Balls and Ultra Balls in order to do that. But after a while, they discontinued making this device. They did not make any more after a certain while, and players were finding that it was no longer available in store shelves and on online retailers. And any Pokemon Go Plus Plus that you find right now, they're essentially going to be either bootlegs or they're going to be used Pokemon Go Plus Pluses going for an absurd rate. Like, they're extremely expensive. But that's besides the fact. I think a lot of players were questioning why Niantic discontinued this item, considering that it was something that was incredibly popular. A lot of people were actually looking for this device for the past year. It just seems like it made no sense why they would stop making this device when players were really looking for it. But I think we can get an idea now. It does seem like maybe behind the scenes, this is something that Scopely Inc. might be a part of. It does seem like there's going to be something added to the game, which is going to act very similarly to the Pokemon Go Plus Plus in the game without an outside device. Actually, I'm missing my Pokemon Go Plus Plus. That's the reason why I don't have mine for this video. That's kind of sad. I have to go look for it because it's definitely a rare item at this point. But regardless, yeah. So recently, data miners have uncovered this item that's going to be coming to Pokemon Go. It's going to be called the Explorer gadget, and this item is essentially exactly what you would expect. It is a Pokemon Go Plus Plus within the game. When you use this item, you're going to have the same functionalities of a Pokemon Go Plus Plus, where you're going to start auto-catching Pokemon and auto-spinning Pokestops as you move about in the game. I don't necessarily know if it's going to work the same way, where you do not have to have the game open. You could probably get the same amount of Pokemon and the same amount of Pokestop spins as you would with a Pokemon Go Plus Plus, But regardless, yeah, this item is going to be a part of the game, and it's going to essentially replace the Pokemon Go Plus Plus. And this is where a lot of players are feeling a bit suspicious, because a lot of people, once this item was discovered in the game codes, have speculated that Niantic might have a subscription service in order for you to use this item. Yeah, imagine paying a certain amount of money every single month in order to auto-catch Pokemon and auto-spin Pokestops. In some ways, this would definitely help the argument that Pokemon Go is getting very much pay to win, because even the Pokemon Go Plus Plus itself felt very pay to win when it was first announced. A lot of players out there felt like this was an unfair advantage for the common player, especially because you're paying an absurd amount at the time, which is, I think it was for $60, $70, $80 or something like that for the device, but you would be auto-catching Pokemon and you'd be able to get a lot more Stardust, a lot more candies, and of course, a lot more items without really putting in a lot of effort. But yeah, now it's going to be something in the game, and if it does end up being a subscription service, that could potentially make Niantic a crazy amount of money, because you know players are going to subscribe to this sort of service in order to auto-catch Pokemon. It would be such a huge advantage. Now, of course, if it's not a subscription service, maybe this is going to be an item that you can get and it will only be for a temporary time, like when you use it, and it could be something tied to the Go Passes that we've been getting. Of course, every single in-game event that's happening every week usually has with it a Go Pass that's specifically tied to that event. I could totally see a case where this sort of item is one of the premium track rewards that you get from those in-game event Go Passes. It could be part of the seasonal Go Pass, or at least the monthly Go Passes. It could be a reward for the special event Go Passes, like for Pokemon Go Fest. I don't know what the case may be, but overall, this is all something that could potentially lead to some very predatory monetization practices. So it is something we as players have to be very wary of. And for Niantic and Scopely, my message is that you need to tread carefully, because up until this point, monetization really hasn't been too much of an issue. Pokemon Go has always had the reputation of at least being properly monetized, and I think the gripes that players have with the game is more around the in-game bugs and with all of the different issues with PvP. And also when it came to the content. A lot of the content wasn't necessarily that stellar, and that was really the gripes that players had. But just imagine, on top of all of that, if monetization suddenly became a thing that players were always unhappy about. Scopely Inc., ever since they took over Pokemon Go, I feel like they've been doing a pretty good job with monetization. Yeah, certain things have certainly gotten a lot more expensive. That's definitely a case, like, no doubt, but at the same time, they've been doing a pretty good job of walking that fine line. I never felt for once that Pokemon Go was overly monetized, or if it was a game that was predatorily monetized. It just felt like the monetization was just right. If you pay a little bit of money, you're going to get yourself extra stuff. If you don't want to pay that money, you're not really going to be missing out on much. And even if you do pay for certain things like, I don't know, the masterwork research for shiny mythicals, or let's say with the event tickets or anything like that, you're going to be getting what you're paying for. That's how I've been feeling, at the very least. But something like this, it could definitely swing the pendulum a little too far on one side. It could feel very much like a very, pay-to-win mechanic. And I think some players out there will find it to be very annoying. They'll find it to be very disappointing. I mean, there's players out there who refuse to spend a single dollar in Pokemon Go, and there's some players out there who will buy as many raid passes as they can, they'll spend as much money as they can, and try to get certain Pokemon out of it. Certainly that was me in the past. I don't spend that much money on Pokemon Go anymore. For a very long time, I was completely free to play, and just in general, I just feel like the game has come to a place where it doesn't necessarily feel like I'm required to spend money to get the full enjoyment out of it. But that could very much change. It could definitely change with something like this. I really hope it's not the case that Pokemon Go Plus Pluses that players already own are going to be essentially taken out of the game, that they're no longer going to work. I think that would definitely infuriate a huge chunk of the player base, but yeah, I just don't know. This is all something that we just kind of have to wait and see how it all ends up panning out. But at the very least, what we do know is that this Explorer gadget is going to be a part of the game, and it's going to function just like a Pokemon Go++. And there is an opportunity here for Niantic to cash in and make a lot of money around this particular mechanic. But in any case, yeah, that's really all I have to say on this topic. Of course, this is something that is all just speculation. Take everything that I said in this video with a grain of salt. There is a high probability that this is going to be something that will just be something good for Pokemon Go players, or it could be something very egregious. We really do not know. And of course, the Explorer gadget itself, this is something that we just found out from with datamined info, which definitely could change by the time they officially announce it. So yeah, that's also something to consider. So yeah, once again, take everything that I said with a grain of salt, and you know, we could just speculate, but don't over speculate, if that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's it for this video. Share your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about down below. Do you miss the Pokemon Go++? Again, I gotta find mine. It's somewhere here. I haven't been using it much at all, and for the last couple of days, I just haven't been using it at all because I haven't located it. God, I hope I didn't lose it. But anyway, yeah, share your thoughts regarding this Explorer gadget. Share your thoughts regarding the Pokemon Go++ and all that good stuff. And also, talk about the monetization models. Do you feel like it's overly monetized? Maybe I'm completely wrong. Do you feel like Pokemon Go is completely pay to win already? Yeah, if you feel that way, share your thoughts in the comments below and let's have a great discussion. And of course, subscribe if it's your first time here to my channel. If it's your first time to one of my videos, that would help me out a lot. Make sure you go and check out the links in the description below. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, you could do that by becoming a Patreon member, and there is a link to my Patreon page, so definitely go and check that out. There's also a link to my Etsy store. I'm creating a bunch of stuff for K-pop and anime. If you want to get something really cool, like a t-shirt or something like that, make sure you go and check it out. And of course, follow me on social media. I'm always going to be active on Instagram in particular, and if you want to keep up with my daily life, you could do that by following me on social media. But yeah, that's it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you in the next video.